Welcome, welcome. I hope everyone has been doing well. I know I saw a lot of familiar faces in the Awakening the Divine Feminine, and then I had a couple weeks off, so it's good to see you and some new folks. Yay! Isabel from France, welcome, welcome, yay. So yes, if you're new, welcome. This is one of my most favorite and truly just the sole reason I feel I'm on the planet is joining in a sacred circle with amazing souls like yourself. And what we will do is we will open up this space. And for those who have not sat with me before, we're going to go into a guided experience. So your soul, your guides, my guides are all in cahoots of what is most efficient and what's most useful for this moment for all of us to truly be able to sit in our seat of sovereignty and sit in our place of freedom within. And that has a variation. Or we work with certain specific energy frequencies, different each week. And how that also occurs is there'll be a vibrational healing, and I'll be using my voice sound. It might sound bizarre to those who are new. You just kind of go with it. If the mind's like, that sounds weird, just, wow, that sounds weird. And yeah. So I'm just excited to be here with you all. And oh, you're hello, Sarina. Is that correct? From Romania. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so important to gather together, and also if you can turn your videos are not on, if you can have your videos on, it just helps us to really call forth our energy to be present here together. And you can even take a moment to look through, put it on gallery view or scroll through, and it's like we're real humans and real beautiful souls in these bodies, and we're all over the world, and we're all choosing to spend precious time to go within and to remember who we really are and come back to that place of love. There's so much conflict, there's so much unraveling in the state of our world today as we're moving in this transition period, as we're moving to the prayers that have been laid down for years to have the shadow come to light. And it's uncomfortable, and it's painful, and there's so much that goes on when we're in initiations, and we're in a global humanities in an initiation. And it can feel, as we all know from this last year, and then the waves of when it's really in our face. We all have been through our individual initiations, and now on a global level, collectively, it's like, where are we going? Like, really, where are we going? And I use the word priestess a lot. I use the word medicine woman, sovereignty, all these juicy words. But behind those words, like, what does that actually mean in frequency? And how do we embody that? How do we walk in the world, in our lives, whether that we're quarantined and we're walking around our house or we're out in the world? How do we hold this place of our own knowing and this place of our own heart strength? Because it's tough. There's moments where there's so much gratitude, and there's so much that we can have our awareness of what the beauty and what the magic is happening as things are evolving. And then there's also times where it's like, how does my heart hold all this? And how do I let myself cry and grieve, not only for my own life, but for those that are in complete survival mode and watching their children die? And how do we grieve for those beings that can't grieve for themselves because they just simply are in survival? And we walk in this world as conduits of healing and presence and mindfulness as much as possible. And then we have our moments and ourselves that we just need to do what we need to do. And that might look like in any given moment, zoning out on Netflix. It might mean, laying, like I always say, I'm like, if someone comes in the house and, it's not far-fetched that I'm just like naked laying on the ground on the floor, and it might not look like I'm doing much, but there's a lot going on. But that's like my work day. And So how do we create space for us to really sit in that seat of listening and sit in that seat of healing for ourselves in the world? Because it's, as we know, it's just gonna, it's, we're in that transition period, and it's not a quick transition, right? If we look at time, we can be so or what's that word? Myopic on our own, short life. But if we span out a bit and span out into creation cycles and what's happening, it's the bird's eye view is so big. It's so big, and so it helps to pause and see, how can I gain more height in my awareness? How can I expand spaciousness to see even outside of my own personal experience? What's the bigger mythos we're living in, where our lives are mythic? And we've lost that in our Western world. We've lost that in the ways that we used to sit with the grandmothers around the fires and hear the mythic stories as reflections of our own lives. And so as we lean more into being able to take that focus of what's the myth playing out in our world right now, and what's the myth in your own individual life. And it helps. It's because it can feel daunting. At least in my experience, it's felt daunting, especially being a sensitive being and a sensitive empathic soul, of feeling it all and not turning away. Because that's the big difference, is how we just keep front facing all of it. And we keep breathing, and we keep with the prayers, and we keep with the alignment also of the grace that's available in every moment. And this is really what this sitting together is about. There might be different, topics of the day, but really when we come down to it, is like, how do we truly walk in that awakened way? And it's a moment to moment remembering, really. So thank you for being here with me. It's so good to see all of new faces and old faces. I don't mean old faces, but friendly old. And here around. So this week, if some of you have signed up for the Oracle Way, this was supposed to be the 5-day Oracle Way, when we're going to really work at going into the place of vision and the place of being able to sit in your seat as the oracle within your own life, and that sovereignty, and just taking up the cobwebs. Because that's one thing I've seen so much individually working with people all over, and it's so, with all the bombardment and stimulus, and now we've moved so much of our lives on computers, and that's what we're like getting, and like what's happening in the world, right? And so there's the bombardment within the third eye, and what's going on with the pineal and pituitary deep within the brain. So we're going to work with that and just help to unpack, so we can have our own clarity, and linking that with the heart. It's going to be a beautiful process. But anyways, this was the original Caroline plan of doing it this week, and that wasn't happening. So and I had this moment I could push, right? Like we all have this like idea, and this, here's the plan, and I could push to have it occur, or I could just write the email, apologize, like actually it's going to be in a week, and just trusting in that intuitive guidance and the embodiment of that. So and then I was like, oh, well, then we can do a Wednesday. So here we are. So next week will be 5 days. And I'm really excited about it. And today we just get to join in and see what unfolds. All right, love. So as always, and if you're new, we're just going to go in. So once you be comfortable, and if you choose to lay down, make sure that your spine is completely straight. You don't have a pillow blocking your throat chakra, so you're not bringing your chin down towards your chest because that's going to block the flow of energy. If possible, staying upright so your spine, the energy can move along the whole central channel, the whole spinal column is the best way to let the transformation happen. All right. So we're going to close the eyes. As always, tune into the breath. How is your breath this morning, right now? Just focus on the inhalation and the exhalation. Allowing the breath to get a little deeper, moving all the way into your belly, into your pelvic floor. And if the mind starts to tell stories of making sure you do it correctly, just know it's like that's the mind, and just come back to the breath. Beautiful. And now with the breath, seeing if you can expand the side body. So the ribs. And this extends into the energy field around you. So with the inhalations and the exhalations, there's a movement. There's an enlivening of your auric field, the biomagnetic field all around you. Expanding and contracting. And bringing awareness to your base center, the root chakra right at the base of your spine, the perineum. Just notice what you notice. How is this base center today? Does this energy feel nice and vibrant? Does it feel constricted and drawn up? Just noticing what you notice. So somehow I move energy in the collective field. It's burping, whistling, kind of anything goes. From this center, saying hello to Pachamama, Mother Gaia, the Earth Mother below you. And if this is just part of your normal practice, see if you can slow down slow the intention down to see how does it feel when you connect into the Earth Mother. Letting this connection be as wide as your hips. Good. The energy is going to just start composting into the earth. Almost like unlocking a drain, letting the energy go down the grounding cord into the earth. Just going to name some things I'm seeing in the collective field. Allowing some energy to compost, unwind from the back of the heart. In the back of the throat. Just allowing that whole backside of your body as if you were turning up the light to see what's going on the backside energetically. Any constriction or density. So allowing that energy to drain out your back channels right down into the grounding cord. Good. And letting that go, it's going to continue to release and clear. Moving awareness to the top of your head, to your crown center, allowing the petals to unfurl. Allowing the light of the divine to meet you right at this crown center. As if you take a step to stand underneath a waterfall. Divine light. Allowing that light to come into the brain, the right hemisphere, the left hemisphere, frontal lobes, cerebellum. Making its way to the throat and all down your central channel, just coming into your system. This stream of light, this stream of grace coming into your body, coming into your system, around your body, has a particular flavor, so to speak, a specific frequency that is good medicine for you today. It's going to be different for each of you. But getting curious, if there was a color added to this light, what color would it be? You don't have to see anything. You could just know, sense. And then what's the quality of that color? It was a light pink. It's a curiosity, compassion. Just asking for that particular divine quality that wants to be amplified in your nervous system, in your body. What's the good medicine for today? Just relaxing a little bit more, just dropping deeper into your form, allowing more spaciousness, relaxing your jaw. Good. And letting that intention go and allowing yourself to just sit in the center of your radiant being. Allowing yourself to be, not do. And bring awareness to the center of your chest, your heart. Just resting your presence right at the sacred temple within the heart center. How's your heart today? petals of a rose. Your heart wants to flower and open just a little bit more. Beautiful. Checking back in with the connection to the Earth Mother, to Pachamama below you. Saying hello. Feeling her strength and her support underneath you. Feeling your crown unfurled, allowing the grace, allowing the energy of your soul, the particular frequency of the divine that's going to be helpful, good medicine for you right now. And feeling into the energy as it rises up and down along your central column. Just notice what you notice. Breathing into the energy around your body, auric field. And asking, where are the edges of your aura? Where are the edges of your field? Does it feel 2 to 3 feet around you? Is it down the block? Is it squished against your body? So we want to just breathe and give it space, but not too much space. So if you feel like you have an expanded, like down the block kind of situation with the edges of your field, you're going to bring it about 2 to 3 feet all around you. Just imagining the circle of light drawn. You step into that. Stepping into the golden light of your field. Bringing awareness back to the heart. Breathing into the front of the heart and the back of the heart. Perhaps sighing on the exhale, opening the throat, relaxing the jaw. Inhaling into the belly, expanding. And exhale, sighing on the exhale, opening up that throat. And last one, letting yourself come all the way back to your form, feeling the weight of your body on the floor or the chair, the couch. And allowing yourself to arrive. And opening your eyes when you're ready. You can stay inward as long as, of course, feels nourishing. And if there was a quality, a certain vibration, did you get a quality or a sense of what is the medicine quality for you today? Did that come up at all? Get some head nods. So one thing I want to mention before we get off is just looking at the collective field is to make sure if you have a meditation practice or if you're new to this, any kind of practice, to make sure you check those back channels. So collectively, the energy, and this is, I'll say normal, but this happens a lot, is the back side gets kind of like squished into the body. And that's a lot where we store energy, especially at the heart and the throat area. And that's when we get like the shoulders, the tension, but energetically, what can happen is it's like, especially when there's just so much going on and our system hasn't been able to process it, it gets stored in the back. So just taking a moment to feel the breath expand. So if I'm just feeling into my back, I'm just going to visualize or sense this expansion off my back channels as well. It's also really great to lay on the earth if that's available, or lay on your floor in your house and feel those back channels, the back of the chakras just opening up and getting a flush into the earth, and that'll help clear the energy too. But there is a bit of stagnation on the collective back field. So if that resonates with you, and if it doesn't, of course, listen to your own wisdom about it. What else is coming up? Oh, the other thing too. So our guides, and there is a lot of angelic presence today, and but the specific guidance of not to activate that awareness, some of you might have felt that and been aware, but to, like, for me to verbally acknowledge, even though they of course were there, is sometimes we can spend a lot of time in the doing process, even in the meditations, right? So we're bringing in the violet flame, we're doing this, and there's Mary Magdalene, and there's blah, 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 right? It's like all of a sudden there's a party happening, and parties are great. And for those who've been around me for a while, like, I love parties in the light realms. And there can be a sense of, again, like, we get caught in the mind of doing. And so the ask is to, when you feel like your energy is going into this, like, even on the very subtle way, like forward, seeing if you can bring it back and in, and really rest in the being, because that's where the magic happens. So even when we're working with a violet flame or the archangels or the sisters of the rose, and if you don't know any of that, like, that doesn't even matter. But if you're working with the guides, it can still be busy, And this is really the ask of how to get into the depth of your soul heart connection and see, like, what is the medicine wanting to be birthed right now within you? Like, what is happening within your own sphere? We want to just drop back, because, again, so if I'm looking at the energy, I think the last time we were on, someone asked me, what do I see in this? So I'm looking at the collective field and the energetic. So here's the central column and the energy. And this doesn't have to be true for everyone, but there's enough true for people on the call that I see it collectively, because there's the collective pattern, is that the energy is in front of our central column. Does that make sense? It's like, and it's natural, especially we're like writing the things, we're on the computer, our eyes, we're front facing creatures. That's just how we are as even animals. So it's bringing that energy back and having it really sit and rest in yourself. So practicing as well, just that beingness that might not seem as glamorous as sometimes as we bring in all these other different energies and going off to the star systems and all the juicy stuff that is really a part of the awakening process, but resting like deep in the center point and then expanding out from there and letting the beingness, right? So when we really sit and allow the grace to drop in, even if you don't feel it at first, it's like good Lord, we all have moments and days where we're like, really? This is what's going on, in our lives and ourselves and our psyches and the world. Like, we definitely have like, what the fuck moments, right? Like, it's like, where is the faith? Where is the trust? And there's moments where it's just like, this makes no sense. Okay, divine, like, no sense, makes no sense. I get it from a lot of different levels. And there's days we can like go in the philosophy of like all the stuff. But sometimes you're just like, yeah, this would be like a C plus at best experiment. But anyways, so we want to just take those times where when we're in this like moments of kind of revving up to come back, as I just rev myself up, I get passionate about that, is coming in and sitting in and allowing the energy to expand from inside out this way. And I know I've talked about this a lot before, but it's up in the field right now. Does that make sense? Are we getting this? Okay, we have thumbs up. And could you feel the shift when we just really sit and it's like you wait? You wait, you wait, you wait, and feel like, what is your divine? Like, you as a divine creature on this planet, like, what's that quality? You know, what is your unique blueprint? What does it feel like? What does it sense? Do you get a sense of not just sitting in that the grace and feeling? And it can feel, it doesn't mean that we're like sitting in bliss. It can feel really, as the heart starts opening more and we start really moving a different level, it can feel super painful. You know, so it's not like sitting in bliss, but we're sitting in presence, and presence doesn't have a good, bad, right, or wrong viewpoint. So feeling into and allowing your own unique expression to have more space, I guess, is that long roundabout way of saying that, is sitting in the heart of your own being. And what is your unique medicine? What is your unique vibration? And allowing that to come forth and make more space. So that is my soapbox for the day. And yeah, it's so beautiful to be with you again. And hello, welcome to all the new faces. And yeah, thanks for joining. And so just practice with, you know, connecting into the earth, feeling that connection, and checking back in with that quality that you got of what's that particular frequency of the divine. Is it peace? Was it curiosity? Was it compassion? And then nurturing that. You know, it's because that's a practice in itself. Like, how can we hold that consistently? All right, loves, it was so great to sit with you, and I hope to see you next week. And have a wonderful rest of your day.